Ever touch a shirt for 2 seconds and immediately decided, nope, this feels cheap? Congratulations, you just performed a fabric test. Now imagine doing that for 20,000 meters of fabric before a factory turns it into garments worth $500,000. Today, I'm taking you inside the fabric testing and inspection system, the invisible security check that decides whether a garment becomes a bestseller or a return request. Let's get into this. Let's get one thing straight. Fabric starts as fiber and ends up in a mill. These places are high-stress war zones where weavers and dyers juggle 100 orders at once. In that chaos, defects aren't an accident. They're a mathematical certainty. Expecting a mill to ship 100% perfect fabric is like expecting a toddler to eat spaghetti in a white tuxedo. It's just not happening. That's why fabric inspection is the survival filter for brands and factories. Do it early, and the business wins for 4 reasons. See, by doing this, factories can hold the mill's feet to the fire with cold, hard evidence. Because let's be honest, I'm disappointed in you is not a professional business strategy. This can also give brands a real return policy so they can ship the bad quality fabric back before wasting a single cent on cutting it. We're talking about total source control killing garment defects before they're even born. And the best part? It's a timeline defense. Factories find out they're short on fabric now, not 3 weeks later when the shipment date is screaming in their face. Simple as that. A defect that costs cents to fix at the fabric stage will cost 10 times more once it's a finished shirt. So the industry knows why a filter is needed, but what exactly are brands filtering for? When a pro says this is high quality fabric, they aren't just talking about it being soft. In this business, quality isn't a vague feeling. It's the fabric's ability to meet a very specific set of promises. Think of fabric quality as the physical integrity of a product. It breaks down into 2 distinct worlds. The first one is the aesthetic promise, the face value. This is the surface level reality. Is the color consistent from the first meter to the 10,000th? Does the grain line run straight or is it twisted like a cheap pretzel? When factories talk about quality here, they are talking about uniformity. If the mill promised a specific weight, let's say 180 grams per square meter, and they deliver 160, that's a quality failure. It's not just thinner, it's a completely different product. Quality is the distance between what a brand ordered and what actually showed up on the truck. The second one is the performance promise, the hidden strength. This is where most beginners get burned. Quality is also the fabric's behavior, dimensional stability. Does it stay the same size after a wash, or does a large turn into an extra small? Color fastness. Does the dye stay inside the fibers, or does it bleed out the moment it touches water? Durability. Does it pill, tear, or fray after 2 wears? Real quality means the fabric is fit for purpose. If a brand is making high-end yoga leggings, quality means incredible stretch recovery. If a factory is producing a rugged work jacket, quality means high abrasion resistance. In short, fabric quality is the sum of its visual perfection and its functional reliability. It's the DNA that ensures the garment doesn't just look good in the showroom, but stays looking good in the customer's closet. And if that DNA is corrupted, if the quality simply isn't there, no amount of beautiful stitching or expensive branding can save the garment. The brand is just building a house on a foundation of sand. Now that the definition of quality is clear, it is time to talk about how the industry actually polices it. A brand can't just cross its fingers and hope the mill was having a good day. Factories need a system that acts as a triple threat defense. Think of this as the security protocol for production. There are 3 specific checkpoints that must be hit to keep the bad blood out of the factory floor. The first point is identifying the enemy, also known as fabric defect types. It is essential to know exactly what is being hunted. Factories categorize every flaw, from holes and slubs to shade variation and stains. If a defect cannot be named, a claim cannot be made for it. This is where the industry separates the fixable issues from the total disasters that ruin a brand's margin. The second point is the lab interrogation or fabric testing. This is where professionals go beyond the naked eye and put the fabric through a literal torture chamber. The fabric is pushed to its physical and chemical limits. Shrinkage, color fastness, and pilling. This is the data-driven stage where a brand finds out if the fabric is a survivor or a quitter before it ever touches a sewing machine. The third point is the final verdict, which is the fabric inspection system. Production requires a mathematical go/no-go decision. Brands don't guess. They use industry standard frameworks to give each role a penalty score. It's the final gatekeeper that decides if a fabric is worthy of the label or if it gets sent back to the mill with a rejection stamp. That is the high-level map of fabric testing and inspection. Over the next few episodes, we are going into the trenches of this topic, so you can spot a production-killing disaster from a mile away. BSKB Bite-Sized Knowledge Bombs is fueled by Blossom 360 program, an industry deep dive educational training designed to pull back the curtain on garment manufacturing through hands-on factory experience. Whether you're a student, an emerging designer, or a fashion business owner, Blossom 360 delivers the raw technical truth that textbooks simply can't teach. Hit that subscribe button for your next shot of industry adderall and give us a like if you're ready to start speaking the language like a true pro. In the next part, we are going to stop talking in generalities and start naming names. We are diving deep into the enemy, aka fabric defect types, so you can stop guessing and start inspecting. I'll see you on the other side.